Jet Setters. I'm Jeb Brooks from greenergrass.com. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. And I need to make my way over to Salt Lake City. Best way I know to do that, of course, is with Delta Airlines. Today, I'm on a 757-300, the Flying Pencil. I can't wait to bring this service to you. Let's find out together whether first class makes sense now.
At the risk of stating the obvious, more people fly economy than first class. But maybe there's a reason to upgrade, particularly now given all that's changed in aviation. In this video, I'll aim to help you decide whether it makes sense for you to pay to upgrade in this brave new world. At the end of the video, we'll use the JebScore matrix to help you decide. After watching, let me know whether you see enough value to pay a premium. There were more people in the airport than I'd seen in previous visits in the past couple of months. That's a good thing. Many passengers think buying a domestic first-class ticket means access to Delta's Sky Club. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Instead, a membership is almost always required. And membership is, in a word, complicated. To make a long story short, you can earn one as one of Delta's top-tier frequent flyers by having the right credit card, or by simply paying for a membership. You can also gain access to the clubs by having a ticket in the premium cabin on a Delta One flight. Gone are the days when you could pay for a single entry. If you fly often enough, membership may make a lot of sense. We were fortunate enough to have access because, as a Diamond Medallion flyer, I chose membership and a guest pass as two of my choice benefits. These clubs are certainly not what they once were. In the age of coronavirus, Delta and its partners who manage these clubs have reduced offerings in order to reduce risk and cost. They have added this machine that purports to sanitize your devices. I did not try it. The clubs continue to offer full bars, but there are no hot food offerings, and all the food is individually packaged. But one thing that hasn't changed, these views. Now, a quick editorial note. These are tough times, and I can understand the need for cost cutting and reduced service. I'm just happy to be in the sky. Soon, it was time to head downstairs to our gate. It was clear a lot of effort goes into cleaning and ensuring proper social distancing here at the airport.
By the way, as we're making our way through this terminal, which doesn't seem all that crowded compared to what it normally is like here in Atlanta, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of today's video. That's NordVPN. NordVPN is my go-to VPN when I'm traveling or even if it's stuck at home. You see, it does a great job of keeping my personal information private. There are a lot of prying eyes on the internet, and thanks to NordVPN, I don't have to worry about them. Not only that, it allows me to stream content from all over the world, no matter where I am. Further, it integrates with just about every operating system. It even works on my phone. I absolutely love this award-winning tool. It's kind of a key part of my travel arsenal, if you will. So if you want to check it out, head to nordvpn.com/JebBrooks. Use coupon code JebBrooks, and you'll get 68% off, plus a free month. It's like $3.71. It's a no-brainer. You've got to add this to your arsenal. So head over to nordvpn.com/JebBrooks and use coupon code JebBrooks to take advantage. Let's get on board this Flying Pencil.
Delta boards from back to front by rows. However, certain passengers, including those sitting in first class, may board earlier if they choose. Boarding a 757 is a pretty special thing. Not only are these fantastic airplanes that look great, have a really interesting history, and are remarkably comfortable, but you also get to turn left when boarding in first class. Flight attendants provide each passenger with a cleaning wipe on boarding. Having seen how much effort the airlines are putting into cleaning their planes, though, I don't even think it's necessary, but it is definitely a welcome component of the new approach to cleanliness in air travel. My seat, 2A, looked ready for me to call it home for the next 3.5 hours. Currently, Delta's biggest differentiator among the other U.S. airlines is that they fly at a reduced capacity, guaranteeing each passenger an empty seat next to them. That means middle seats are blocked, and first-class passengers who are traveling alone are also guaranteed an empty seat next to them. I was traveling with the channel's creative director, my girlfriend, and we were able to book seats next to each other because we bought our tickets together. It's important to remember that not only is the air on board filtered and refreshed every 2 minutes or so, but it blows downward, further limiting exchanges between passengers. One of the nicest aspects of the Delta experience is that in most cases, in-flight entertainment works from gate to gate. We'll take a closer look at that IFE once we're in the air. Oh, and by the way, there's also a plug at each seat. In the past, Delta provided a pre-departure beverage, or PDB, in first class. Passengers could get just about any drink they wanted as soon as they sat down. But in an effort to reduce risk and cut costs, PDBs are no longer offered. More on beverages in a bit. Taxiing around ATL is always exciting, and today's experience was no different. I'm not sure about you, but I find this moment, just as the plane turns out for departure, to be one of the best parts of any flight. It's a moment like no other, at least for me, always special. If you feel the same way, please click the like button. Am I alone? Am I crazy? Or do you agree? Once we climbed through 10,000 feet, I pulled out the sturdy tray table, which was big enough to use for work. And speaking of, internet was available. Like many frequent flyers, I canceled my monthly subscription to GoGo back in the spring, which meant paying $20 for a pass for this flight. The internet was strong enough for what I needed, and I have to admit, I don't really know what these numbers mean. But again, it was fast enough to catch up on email and track our flight, which was all I required. I'm not sure I could have uploaded this video, though. Delta's in-flight entertainment is fantastic. The screens are typically pretty responsive. There are some older ones floating around in the system, but for the most part, they're these newer ones. And I really like how easy they are and intuitive, really. Plenty in the way of movie choices. I also am a big fan of the fact that on the domestic fleet, you have the availability of live television. And there's also a pretty solid moving map feature. Let's get to the heart of it. A lot of passengers book first-class tickets for enhanced food and beverage options, and that's been impacted in order to reduce risk and cost. Gone are the choices of hot meals on a flight like this. Instead, flight attendants present a snack bag, which is provided to all passengers in both coach and first class. It includes Biscoff, Cheez-Its, a bottle of water, and some hand sanitizer. These bags, by the way, are assembled by flight attendants who are in between flights. First-class passengers are offered the choice of beer, wine, or water. That's it. No gin and tonics, no sodas, no juices, no nothing. It's just beer, wine, or water. You want ice? That's too bad. Coffee? It's not going to happen. It's beer, wine, or water. That's it. In economy, your only choice is water. I had red wine. Additionally, first-class passengers are offered a choice of flight fuel boxes on flights longer than 900 miles. So here it is, my total take for the 3.5-hour flight from Atlanta to Salt Lake. This is the snack bag plus a flight fuel box. Of course, I did not leave the plane hungry, that's for sure. But I also have to acknowledge this is a far cry from the catering you would have seen on this route just last year. It's also worth noting, Delta's food and beverage offerings are less than what American and United offer on comparable length flights. Those airlines offer fresh food and wider beverage selection. However, neither block seats. To that point, would you like to see a comparison of these airlines? I was thinking about making one, but let me know. We experienced some pretty serious bumps on our flight today. As we discussed in the most recent episode of our podcast, Two Blokes Talking Rubbish, aka Have Passports Can't Travel, there's a link in the description. When you consider just how well-made modern airplanes are, you can really start to enjoy turbulence. Airplanes are built to withstand a lot more than you'd think. For more on this, check out that podcast. Once the bumps slowed, I decided to see just how long the flying pencil really was, so I took a walk. If you go for a seat at the back of the plane, you can really feel and see that turbulence. It's pretty cool. I know some people say every 757 is a flying pencil, or even that the A340-600 deserves the title. But I believe the 757-300 is the only one truly deserving of this moniker. It's the stretched version of the 757, and in this 300 category, first entered service in 1999 with Condor. It's 178.7 feet long. That makes it the longest single-aisle twinjet ever built. For reference, the 747-400 is only 53 feet longer. Back in my seat, we began our approach into Salt Lake. Things are different now. There's no doubt. Has the romance gone out of travel, though? No, I don't think so. Not even close. The real miracle of flight hasn't changed. That miracle, I think, is that you walk through a door, sit down for a while, and walk out the same door in an entirely new place. Even without hot meals and free drinks, that's still the same. Aviation needs us. It needs passengers to support it. Now, more than ever, the industry is suffering. These are tough times. So if you need to travel, I believe you can feel confident in doing it a safe way. The airlines, the airports, the entire industry has prepared for your return. But let's address the question we started with. Is first class worth it right now on Delta? Well, obviously it depends on the price, but airline pricing is highly variable and pretty unpredictable. So let's set that part of the equation aside. Some of you will think that's a ridiculous premise, but bear with me. The question is really about what you value. Let's use the JebScore matrix to figure this out. I use the JebScore to rate international first and business class flights. It's pretty subjective, but I think its 5 components will be helpful here too. Let's take a look at the lounge, the seat, the in-flight entertainment, the food, and the service. First, since neither first class nor an economy ticket grants you access to the lounge, there's no real winner here. If you value space around you, Delta has reduced that benefit of first class by ensuring every passenger, regardless of where they're sitting, can have an empty seat next to them. So there's not much difference there either. That said, the seats in first class are wider than those in the economy cabin, and you do get more pitch. The in-flight entertainment screens in first class are larger than the ones in economy, in just about every aircraft in the fleet. But the content, well, that's the same. If you place a premium on food and beverage, well, the difference is the availability of the flight fuel box and wine or beer. In economy, all you'll get to eat are Cheez-Its and Biscoff, and the only drink you can have is water, even for purchase. If you're traveling in the economy cabin, I'd really recommend bringing food on board. If you value attention, well, there's another edge in first class. You'll have a dedicated flight attendant who now has a seat with you in first class, as a matter of fact. Depending on the aircraft type, until recently, 2 flight attendants sat next to each other in jump seats located in the galley. Now, because of social distancing, one of those flight attendants sits in the starboard side of row 1. Further, he or she will be assigned to serve the first class cabin, increasing the likelihood of more attentive service. In short, it's an individual decision based primarily on the price, but at least now you've seen exactly what you're paying for. I value the larger, more comfortable seat and the attentive service. I'd also rather have an empty seat than a G&T, so as long as the price isn't outrageous, you'll probably find me up front. But what about you? Will you be flying in the first class cabin on your next trip?
Between now and the next time, see you in the sky. Let's see whether first class makes sense travel. Dave, go ahead. Thanks. Have a good one. That's